Wichita State and Oral Roberts. Shockers trying to get to 7-4, trying to make it 3 in a row at home. And speaking of which, Wichita State in the last 2 games, both wins, one here, one downtown, both nail-biters, Bob, but Wichita State made winning plays in both.
Yeah, it was a couple of close ball games, and the young Shockers figured out a way to win both those games against very experienced ball clubs, Jacksonville State and Southern Mississippi.
So the Shockers will try to get to that 7-4 mark before the trip to Richmond to take on VCU. Starting lineups in the opening tap when we come back.
With Cox High-Speed Internet.
Carlos O'Kelly's Mex from scratch by Wichita's own Koch Industries. By All Angles Collision Repair. Also brought to you by Wichita's very own Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut. And by Red Wing Shoes. Shane and Bob back with you here at Charles Koch Arena. Let's get to our Pizza Hut starting lineup. And Wichita State in trying to get to 7-4 on the season. Bob, you take a look at ORU's starting lineup. Emmanuel Nezikwezi. Tough to guard, tough to say. He's pretty much their leading everything guy.
Yeah, 6'8", 240-pound junior, averaging 15 points a game, 8 rebounds. He shoots a really high percentage, 54% from the field, and does a little bit of everything for Paul Mills and the Oral Roberts Golden Eagles.
Let's get to your keys to the game, and they're brought to you by the Kansas Lottery. What are the couple of keys for the Shockers tonight, Bob?
Well, I think on defense, the Shockers want to pressure Oral Roberts. They want to try to disrupt their offense, so look for them to be pressuring full court, three-quarter court, and in the half court, and try to take Oral Roberts out of their offense. And offensively for the Shockers, they need to try to execute, smooth out their offense, and take high percentage shots. Look for them to go inside to Echenike, and then when he gets double-teamed, they'll kick it back outside and try to knock down some open shots.
Last couple of years, Oral Roberts been a team that's not only struggled to pile up the wins, but they give up points. Now, they've given up 77 on average per game this year. And Wichita State, conversely, Greg Marshall's still looking for that near-perfect 40 minutes where there's no lapses, high degree of efficiency offensively and defensively. Of course, all coaches look for that all the time, don't they?
Yeah, and he's going to be looking for his seniors. Look for McDuffie and Haynes Jones to try to get the Shockers going here in the first half.
ORU not messing around. They saw what Jacksonville State and Southern Miss had to deal with Echenike. They double him immediately. Shockers really had looked toward him in the opening minutes of both of those games. McDuffie's first shot is errant and one and done on the Shocker end.
Well, they opened up in a 1-3-1 zone. You don't see that zone very often, but the shots you get against that zone are those corners jumpers right there, the one McDuffie just took.
A travel by Deshang Weaver, freshman from Houston. Big reason why Wichita State had so much trouble closing out Southern Miss the other day at Intrust Bank Arena was Southern Miss zone, so that's going to be no secret anymore.
Yeah, you know, Doc Sadler's a man-to-man guy, but when they got in foul trouble, they went to the zone, and the zone was surprisingly effective against the Shockers, and they had about 10 empty trips. There's a pass inside.
And Eric Stevenson can't quite finish. Echenike can.
He did that a lot in the last couple of games. He got those offensive rebounds and stuck them back in. I think Jaime Echenike is learning to keep that ball up and not bring it down.
Echenike a double-double against Southern Miss, 17 and 11.
Yeah, he did a little bit of everything in that game. Blocked shots, drew charges, and really scored a high efficiency.
3 no good. Offensive rebound, though, by Nezikwezi. Averages 7.5 rebounds, number 23 in blue. He's got it now working on Echenike. This will be an interesting matchup. Haynes Jones tried to dig it out of there.
Yeah, you want your guard dropping down, diving down there and trying to disrupt that. He should get one dribble. On that second dribble, that guard ought to be taking that ball away from him. So look for the Shocker guards to be helping inside on McDuffie and Echenike.
And a violation, so a couple of early turnovers for ORU. Oh, timeout.
I think they did get a timeout.
So only a minute and a half in, Wichita State with the first basket. We alluded to it a little bit when Stevenson missed that little banker. Shockers, as Greg Marshall said, left a lot of money on the table, missing easy layups and little bankers. Wichita State could have had Goodness knows how many points the other day.
Yeah, you know, they had that big lead, a 17-point lead in the second half, and then had a lot of empty trips. But it wasn't all turnovers and bad shots. They had a lot of open shots they just failed to knock down. So tonight they're going to be looking for execution, moving the ball, going inside, kicking it outside, and pass up the good shot to try to get the great shot.
So quick timeout for ORU and second-year head coach Paul Mills. And a pretty good play that they had drawn up, but maybe too good to be true as there was a foul away from the ball. That's going to go against Kerwin Smith, 6'10 redshirt senior, transfer from Grand Canyon.
It's a blocking foul on that out-of-bounds play. They got called for a blocking foul. Now it looks like they're in a 2-3 zone.
Stevenson ran into a brick wall. Great look to Echenike. Boy, they've really been patient trying to find Jaime down on the block, haven't they?
I tell you what, they really made a concerted effort to get that ball inside to Echenike, and it's been very effective for Greg Marshall's team.
Shockers with a couple of quick fouls, one by Echenike, one by Marcus McDuffie.
You saw there in the replay, Echenike sealed his man, and then when Eric Stevenson pivoted back, he found him wide open right down the middle of that zone. Really nice pass by Eric Stevenson there.
Echenike, the junior college transfer, 5 games in double-figure scoring, a couple of double-doubles, including the other day downtown against Southern Miss.
There's a big matchup there.
Udeze came in to try to turn away Nezekwezi, came in averaging 14.5. Emmanuel Nezekwezi.
Yeah, 240 pounds against 250 pounds, and that time Nezekwezi won the battle.
First basket for the Golden Eagles. McDuffie fades, fires, couldn't hit. Udeze battling 2 Golden Eagles, and a rebound comes down to Francis Latsis, freshman from Latvia.
Pretty good look by Marcus McDuffie there against the zone, about a 15-footer on the right side. You'd like to see him go straight up, though, and not fade away. I think he's got the size where he doesn't need to fade away on that shot.
A lefty hook by Kerwin Smith, left short. Here come the Shockers the other way.
Good strong rebound that time by Stevenson.
Udeze cut off.
Now they're switching their zones up. They started in a 1-3-1. Now they're in a 2-3. Looks like they're matching up with the perimeter guys.
Stevenson had 2 players on him defending that 3. It wouldn't go. Eric Stevenson becoming famous around here for shooting the lights out at Charles Koch Arena. Well over 54% here in this building. There's a moving screen. Latsis trying to screen Stevenson and didn't come set. Kind of a lost art when it comes to setting screens away from the ball, isn't it?
And that's his second foul. He looks like he's going out of the ball game. Kalen Malone, the former Shocker, coming in for him. Latsis was the one that got the blocking foul on the out-of-bounds play. Now he's got another one, and he's going to have to sit for a while.
So Kalen Malone, who played 23 games at Wichita State, a 2-year walk-on, his final season as a collegiate at ORU.
He graduated from Wichita State, so he was able to take care of that 5th-year graduation rule where you can transfer and get that 5th year.
Kerwin Smith with the rebound. Udeze with a nice soft touch, just a little too soft. 4-2, 4 minutes gone by. ORU comes in 4-9, coming off an 11-21 year a season ago. Weaver hits a 3. Deshang Weaver, a freshman, shoots 40% from three-point range.
McDuffie got hung up on a screen, kind of ran into his own guy, Stevenson, there on the defensive end.
Ricky Torres misfires on a 3, and ORU's now scored 5 in a row.
Shockers are getting some pretty open looks against that zone, but just not knocking anything down.
Nezekwezi had it knocked away by Udeze, and we're at a break. We'll step aside with the Golden Eagles leading by 1 in the early going. Shockers trailing Oral Roberts by 1, 5-4 here in the early going. Oral Roberts may be 4-9 coming in, Bob, but their most recent game was maybe their most impressive win. They beat Richmond on the road 59-52, shot 52% from the floor, 19 of 29 from 2-point range. So they were really active in the paint and had 32 points off the bench. And just like that, they take an 8-4 lead after the last 8 points scored by the Golden Eagles.
Yeah, Mr. Kearns, Sam Kearns, the 6-foot junior, knocking that shot down on the out-of-bounds play against the Shocker defense.
Burton in for Wichita State for the first time.
They're trying to get that ball, and they're trying to stick it on one side of the floor and making it difficult for the Shockers to reverse the basketball.
Well, that 6-minute drought against Southern Miss this past weekend was due in large part to a zone and Wichita State's cold shooting from three-point range.
It probably didn't take much film study to figure out that maybe they ought to open up in a zone, but they've been switching them 1-3-1, 2-3. Looks like they've thrown a little 3-2 at the Shockers as well, but McDuffie fouled on the wrist as he shot that one from the corner, so he'll get some free throws.
Shockers so far this year really struggling from the foul line. They're just a 65% foul shooting team, but this is the right guy at the line individually for the Shockers.
Yeah, he made a couple of big free throws against Southern Miss late in that ball game to ice that game. He's a clutch shooter.
McDuffie 78.7 coming into this one. Overall 18.4 points per game for the Shocker senior. That's fourth best in the American.
You know, he scored 17 against Southern Miss, had 11 against Jackson State, but not shooting a really high percentage. 5 for 16 against Southern Miss, 3 for 15 against Jacksonville State. So 8 of 31, just 26% in the last two ball games. So maybe those free throws early in this game will get McDuffie going.
Rod Brown checks in, McDuffie checks out. Now Marcus McDuffie needs only 7 more points to catch Jamie Arnold on the all-time Shocker scoring list. If he has a good enough game, he can jump 3 guys on the all-time list. We'll talk about that as the game progresses. It looked like a push-off by Chris Miller. Got away with it. Kearns with a 3. And those are the times when you get the open threes, Bob, off an offensive rebound.
Well, they had guys blocked off, but that rebound went really long and went over the top of Stevenson's head and landed right in the lap of Chris Miller, who kicked it out for the open 3. So offensive rebounds do hurt your defense.
Stevenson didn't want a 3. Again, penetrating, probing, and attacking this zone is job number 1 right now. And Stevenson rolls one in. His first basket.
Yeah, that was a nice ball screen set by Jamarius Burton that time. It popped Stevenson open for the open 18-footer.
Short of shooting lights out from 3, Bob, what's Wichita State have to do to shoot Oral Roberts out of that zone?
Well, you got to keep working and to get the ball inside. You got to move the basketball and try to get the zone distorted so you can get the ball inside. But they're having trouble getting stops down the offensive end. Oral Roberts, as you said, they can put some points on the board. And so far they're doing it here against the Shocker man-to-man defense.
Chris Miller came in averaging just 4.5 a game. He has his first 2 off the bench. Again, they just scorched Richmond 32-3 in bench points in their most recent victory.
Ball's kind of getting stuck in the Shockers' hands. They need to move the ball a little bit quicker and try to get this zone out of position.
Stevenson tried a circus shot reverse layup and it went over the top of the backboard. Echenike, after a brief rest, back in for Morris Udeze.
Well, they're trying to run a ball screen offense, but so far Oral Roberts' zone is doing a pretty good job of defending it. They need to move the ball a little bit quicker, get in the gaps, and try to pass the ball into the zone defense, into the middle of the zone defense, and distort the zone a little bit.
ORU's got a little length. Malone with a dump down. Miller couldn't handle it. Maybe a little too much heat on that bounce pass.
Yeah, it's a tough pass for the big guy to handle. That's the 4th turnover by Oral Roberts here already in this first half. So the Shocker defense forcing turnovers. They just need to force more missed shots by the Golden Eagles.
With Torres and Burton in backcourt for Wichita State along with Haynes Jones.
Oh, there he is.
Got him, and he sealed off Miller. Couldn't finish with the left hand.
Yeah,
I think we're going to stay here, though.
Echenike was wide open inside, but he couldn't get Burton's attention. And he had the big guy, Miller, sealed. And finally, Burton saw him and pitched it in there to him. A little too hard off the glass, though, by Echenike.
Echenike to the free throw line. Kind of a late call. He'll shoot a couple here. Jaime is 11 of 20 from the foul line.
Actually shooting a higher percentage from the floor than he is from the free throw line. He's almost 60% from the floor, 59%, but only 55% from the free throw line.
Rattles that one in. There's a whistle. And we may end up staying here a little while longer.
That's another foul on Miller.
So 2 on Lotz is 2 on Miller if that's the case.
That's foul trouble for both of the Oral Roberts bigs now.
Yep.
I didn't see that foul, but the referee motioned like it was a pushing foul.
And there's another foul
right
and an
there.
and one. We thought early on, Bob, that if Marcus, who you alluded to, had some shooting woes, sees the ball go in the basket a little bit, ORU might be in for a long night tonight.
You know, he's due for a good shooting night. He's had a couple of bad ones in a row. Scored a lot of points, but just shot a really low percentage. So look for McDuffie to break out of that, and it might be tonight. That was a smart play to throw the ball right into him and go right at Miller.
That didn't take long at all from Chris Miller to pick up 3 fouls. So Marcus McDuffie with 5 early has a chance for 6. He's got 5. Echenike's got 5. And that free throw rattles in there. So Marcus McDuffie already 4 for 4 from the free throw line. And just like that, McDuffie out, Brown in. So you talk about offense for defense. After Greg Marshall saw that the second foul called on Miller, he got McDuffie right back into the game.
Yeah, very interesting. Little full court pressure by the Shockers this time. Trying to speed Oral Roberts up. Get them out of their comfort zone a little bit.
Shockers have tied it at 13 all. Aiden Saunders into the game now. He's the one that fires an air ball with the offensive rebound and put back by Emmanuel Nezekwezi. He's got 4.
Boy, that's one thing that'll just drive Greg Marshall crazy, giving up offensive rebounds after you make a miss and then giving him a second chance. That's something that he does not approve of.
Burton from the elbow. Kicks it out. Torres now. Udeze just muscles his way in. Too hard. Brown kept it alive, and Udeze couldn't buy it.
Oh, my goodness.
Everything but go in.
That was halfway down. Really working hard in there, but just couldn't finish the play. Good ball movement by the Shockers that time. Reversed it, went inside, kicked it outside, back inside. Real good ball movement. Looks like we're going to get a foul on probably Udeze in there. Let's see.
It'll be his first. And ORU missed Kerwin Smith a few seconds earlier. He was all alone underneath, and he was screaming for it. Kevin O'Banner, really nice-looking freshman, comes off the bench, number 0 in blue. Second on the team in both scoring and rebounding for the Golden Eagles. In there for the first time, Isaiah Poorbear Chandler. Now the Shockers are going big across the front with Chandler and Echenike both in there.
A couple of big freshmen matching up against each other. O'Banner and Poorbear Chandler. 230 pounds against 250 pounds in there. A couple of big freshmen.
That's way short, and the Shockers finally corral an air ball. It's 1 out of 3. Wichita State with a chance to tie it. Poorbear out to Haynes Jones for 3.
Go inside, make the defense collapse on you, and then kick it outside. You usually get a really good shot when you go inside and kick it outside. That time, Poorbear Chandler made a beautiful pass back out to Haynes Jones for the 3.
First Shocker triple of the game. Haynes Jones shoots it at 35.5% from there. Couple of big steps through the lane. It was out of bounds after Saunders maybe got away with a Euro step. Shockers by 1. Shocker basketball brought to you in part by Textron Aviation, by Dillon's Fresh Food, Low Prices, by Serenity Home Health and Serenity Hospice Care, Kansas companies locally owned and operated, by Patterson Legal Group. The good guys are proud Shocker sponsors. Hurt in a car wreck? Go to PattersonLegalGroup.com. And by Delta Dental, protect your smile with Delta Dental of Kansas. Learn more about individual and family plans at DeltaDentalKS.com. Oral Roberts trailing 16-15. Quick three off the inbound, no good. Rebound to Torres. They're not exactly a three-point shooting team, Bob, but they've made three in the early going and shooting at a high percentage.
Yeah, they're 55% from the floor, and they're 3 of 5, 60% from the three-point line. So Oral Roberts shooting a high percentage.
Echenique in close. He's got 7, and he is starting to figure it out on the offensive end.
And he's got those really long arms, so he's got a very high release. Tough to block his shot.
Malone dragged the pivot foot. And maybe all the more impressive, Bob, that he's going against Kerwin Smith, who's 6'10 himself. So it's not like ORU's got a bunch of 6'5 guys out there to pick on.
No, he's got a nice high release, and he's doing a good. He's kind of turned into the go-to guy inside for the Shockers. They've been running plays and going to Echenique, and it's really been effective. Another turnover by Oral Roberts on the travel. That's, I believe, 5 turnovers so far here in the first half. It's like a 3-2 zone now. They're really covering the perimeter. Looks like the Shocker can get the ball inside.
Stevenson walks into a 3, a little short. Wichita State's only made 1 of those. And a scrum on the deck, and everybody ended up on the floor. Echenique and 1.
Wow. What a play by Eric Stevens. He just dove head first into that pile to get that loose ball. Watch this. Watch Eric Stevenson just go diving in after this basketball. Ooh. Bang. Heads collided. Poor Bear Chandler flips it up. And Echenique made a really strong finish after he got hammered. What a play. Shocker fans love that kind of play.
That was something to see.
Hustle.
Something to see. Echenique rattles in the free throw. Rod Brown quickly back in there. So Echenique has 10 points. The crowd's going crazy. Shockers lead by 6. And we got a timeout on the floor. So Wichita State, those energy plays obviously gets the 10,000 fired up here, and this is the last time Shocker fans will have to see them in the calendar year.
You know, it's a really educated fan base here at Wichita State. People here in Wichita love their basketball, and they appreciate when guys just sell out and really go all out on the floor. And Eric Stevenson, we're going to show a replay of this play again. It's a long rebound off the miss. There's a fumble for the ball. It goes rolling out here. Watch Eric Stevenson go head first, crashing in there, and poor Bear Chandler as well. He flips it up, gets it to Echenique, who finishes after getting fouled.
And Nezekweze with just kind of an iffy foul. Maybe let Echenique go. That's only his first, but that does put the Shockers in the bonus, too, with that foul.
Yeah. The Shocker fans just love that kind of effort.
And you look at this 5 on the floor for Wichita State, Bob, the scorers, there aren't many. Stevenson may be really the only one, but what they do have is a bunch of gazelles, and that forced a turnover right there.
Yeah, got a bunch of athletes out there. Looks like McDuffie's coming in for the offensive possession. Brown's going to go back out, so Greg Marshall trying to protect McDuffie and keeping him from getting in foul trouble by pulling him out on the defensive end, but putting him back in when they've got the ball out of bounds.
Burton's going to throw it all the way in backcourt. Got a little overzealous with the pass. Stevenson ran it down. Torres leaves for Burton. Neither Burton nor Torres really so far in their Shocker careers have looked to score it. McDuffie from Poor Bear Chandler. Burton with the offensive rebound. Oh, he left it short. Got it altered by Kerwin Smith. And Stevenson couldn't finish. Smith finally with a defensive board.
You can't fault the effort. Their bodies are flying around. The Shockers are really putting all the 110% effort into it. They just got to finish and get the ball in the basket. A couple of good looks that time.
And that may have been partially blocked by Eric Stevenson on the 3 by Sam Kearns. The rebound battle is almost even, but you pointed it out. ORU's turned it over 5 times. Shockers haven't turned it over yet.
It's a strong move. There you go.
Jamarius Burton at 6'4" finishes around the rim. Shocker leads 8.
He's more comfortable inside than he is out around the perimeter. He's a guard and only 6'4", but he likes to play inside. He did that with the left hand that time.
Burton barely even looks to score from three-point range. You're right. He tries to get in that lane and finish around the rim. Kerwin Smith draws a double team. Now Malone, a set shot three, no good. Poorbear with the rebound. A little bit of a drought now for the Golden Eagles. Burton inside the guts of that zone, and they're going to call McDuffie for a walk. Owen Short said McDuffie took off before he put it on the ground again.
Yeah, he dribbled, then he kind of shuffled his feet as he was collecting himself to go up for that basket. Let's see if we see it here on the replay. Jamarius, a couple extra steps that time.
So ORU's been stuck on 15 for a while. And Malone almost lost it, had to go to a knee to collect it. And we're going to get a pushing foul on Marcus McDuffie, and that's his second. So Byron Jarrett whistles McDuffie for his second. We've got all kinds of people with 2 fouls or more.
Almost looked like soccer for a minute
here.
A
little bit.
Not basketball. He was dribbling with their feet.
Kearns couldn't hit. Burton taking some contact, comes away with it for Wichita State.
That was a strong rebound. Took that away from Shang Weaver.
You know, we haven't pointed it out, but Dexter Dennis not playing tonight due to a concussion. It looks like Jamarius Burton's kind of taking the torch from him, pounding the glass for an undersized guy.
That's right. That's absolutely right. Looks like he's going to get a charge here, though. Kind of forced it a little bit. That time Jamarius just put his shoulder down and went right over the defender.
We'll go to break with the Shockers leading by 8 on your view. The Shockers had to survive a fairly lengthy drought against Southern Miss, but Oral Roberts is a team that's having a hard time putting in the basket now. They led 15-13, but Wichita State scored the last 10, and the ORU drought's going on about 5 minutes.
Yeah, they're 0 for 4 in the last 4 minutes from the floor, and the Shockers now lead rebounding 12-10. So they've picked up 7 rebounds in the last 4 minutes.
Taylor Malone had it poked away by Ricky Torres. So Nessakweze, Malone, Kearns, Kerwin Smith, and Deshang Weaver, the 5 on the floor for the Golden Eagles. And that is the 7th ORU turnover forced by Wichita State.
Yeah, good job that time by the Shocker press, really making a good effort to deny that inbounds pass, and they just couldn't find anybody open.
ORU averages about 15.2 turnovers a game. They're about halfway there. Udeze stuck in the lane, going to put it up. And that is going to be waved off. I think that was going to go in, and I think that was Stevenson that was playing with it in the cylinder.
Young man kind of showing how much leaping ability here. Watch. Udeze makes a really strong move. It's hard to tell whether the ball is coming out or not, but look how high Eric Stevenson gets to stuff that ball in. But it was in the cylinder, and you got to wait for that ball to come out of the cylinder.
He may have got a boost jumping off Rod Brown's back. He went right over the top of a teammate. It was pretty, but it didn't count.
He got up there.
Shocker defense has figured some stuff out over the last 5 minutes. Udeze trying to overplay. It got to Kerwin Smith. Going to kick it right out with 5 to go. Kearns, a give and go, and that is another turnover. 8 by the Golden Eagles. They are shooting themselves in the foot time and time again.
You know, Oral Roberts is really working hard on the offensive end, setting screens, moving the ball, and really working to get each other open shots. But the Shocker defense is up to the task. They're really gotten down and really playing some nasty defense down on the defensive end and forcing those Oral Roberts turnovers.
The second-year coach Paul Mills for ORU's got to feel like, okay, McDuffie's got 2 fouls. We got a chance to make a little hay, but they can't find the basket. Their last field goals with 12:47 left in the half.
Now Ricky Torres, lucky that one wasn't picked off.
Both teams a little choppy on offense right about now. Echenique trying to remedy that. That's a pretty baby hook going over the left shoulder, Bob.
You know what I like about that move is he took his time, Shane. He kind of figured out where the defense was. He wanted to go over his right shoulder, but he felt the defense there, so he came back over the left shoulder and made a really nice post move.
A wild shot, and there's another miss for ORU, but a Shocker rebound will keep it down here. It's a 12-0 Shocker run, and this drought by ORU is going on 6 minutes now.
Tell you, Oral Roberts is really crashing the offensive boards. That time Shockers got caught pushing, try to keep them off the offensive boards.
Kearns got Haynes Jones to turn his head. That was the help defense, and that was the reason why the drought is now over.
Yeah, you can't give up the baseline that easily. Ricky Torres got on the side of Kearns, and Kearns took him right to the hole.
Oh, and Haynes Jones had Echenique again. He had sealed Kerwin Smith off nicely, but Haynes Jones led him a little bit too far toward the corner.
Well, he was leading him, but Echenique was backing up to try to keep the defender sealed, and Samaje's got to recognize that and deliver the ball right to Echenique.
And Echenique at 6'11" is problematic on the front part of that press, as he has Malone trapped momentarily in the corner, and Kalen Malone wisely got rid of it a little quicker than he did in the previous deflection that went out of bounds.
Well, Kalen Malone's been trapped in that corner a few times in his career. After spending a couple years here on the scout team for Wichita State, he's been used to being trapped by some pretty good players. It's good to see that young man getting some playing time. I'm really happy for him that he's down there at Oral Roberts and getting a chance to play some. Really
and scoring a little bit, too. 8.4 a game for Kalen Malone.
He's doing a good job. He worked hard for Greg Marshall and the Shockers up here.
Well, now Echenique has 2 to join Marcus McDuffie with 2.
Yeah, when you're fighting over a screen, when your man is cutting over a screen, it's such a temptation to grab him and to put your hands on him, and the referees are really looking for that. You got to show your hands, you got to move your feet, and not put your hands on that offensive guy as he comes off the screen.
Nsekweze hits the free throw. Emmanuel Nsekweze now has 5 points. He's a 70% foul shooter. ORU's first free throw.
Got some big ball games. Had 17 points against Missouri, 18 against Southern Methodist University. So he's had some big ball games.
46 times he's been in double figures in scoring at ORU. Torres leaves for Poor Bear Chandler. Well, you got McDuffie on the bench, you got Echenique on the bench. Scoring's got to come from somewhere.
Ricky Torres did a great job of setting up that basket, drawing a couple of defenders, then dropping the ball off to to Chandler for the easy one.
ORU's got some foul issues of their own, but not players that normally score a lot for him. Udeze tracks down the rebound after making it tough on Nsekweze.
Boy, you got to want to fight to get these rebounds. There's some bodies going after these rebounds.
Long 3 by Haynes Jones wouldn't go. And a foul on ORU. Well, we can't go a couple trips down the floor without a whistle and a foul. That's going to be a grab on Kerwin Smith.
I couldn't tell whether the foul was on Udeze or Smith, but it was on Kerwin Smith.
Guess how many fouls it is on him?
2?
2. Good answer. Udeze is going to shoot free throws for the Shockers. Both teams in the bonus now.
Trying to test if I'm listening.
2 is going to be a great guess here in the rest of the first half.
Tell you who's not laughing about it is Coach Paul Mills, because all of his big guys have 2 fouls, and his lineup's just getting shorter and shorter.
Well, he caught a little bit of a break that Echenique picked up his second a couple of possessions ago. Udeze throws in the free throw. So Morris Udeze, first point tonight, came in 3 for 9 from the foul line, averaging just over 4 points a game. He had 4 points and 4 rebounds against Southern Miss.
Made a big free throw late in that Southern Miss game. Had 2 free throws, made the first one, missed the second one, but they tipped out the second one and kept the possession.
And Udeze is a wrong place at the wrong time to corral a loose ball. He's going to get whistled for the foul. That's his second.
Kind of a bad luck foul that time. He went down on the floor, and O'Banner fell over him, so it's unintentional, but it's still a foul on Morris Udeze.
So the Shockers a little short-handed tonight with Dexter Dennis out in the concussion protocol, and also earlier in the week, Chance Moore has elected to leave the program. And now with the fouls mounting up, Greg Marshall may end up seeing how deep his team really is. And maybe Paul Mills the same way. O'Banner's free throw missed, and the team rebound to go to Wichita State. Kevin O'Banner averaging 10 points and 6 rebounds, has yet to score.
There's some bodies flying around in this ball game. There's no wonder there's a lot of fouls. They are fighting for every rebound and for every loose ball.
Like you said, you want a rebound tonight. That's not for the timid.
You better go up with 2 hands.
The teardrop too hard by Haynes Jones. Samaje has found the going a little tough tonight. He's only got 3 points on 1 3-pointer. A 12-0 Shocker run is giving Wichita State a little breathing room here in the first half. Nezukweze trying to work on Poor Bear Chandler. And boy, that's the shot you want him taking.
I'll tell you what, I thought Poor Bear Chandler did a really good job defensively there. He was down in his stance. He kept him in front of him, but Nezukweze made a really tough fadeaway there in the corner. There you go.
Yeah, Haynes Jones got all the way to the basket and spins it in. He's got 5.
It looked like he wanted to pull up for that floater again, but nobody stopped him, so he got all the way to the basket with his left hand. Good read by Samaje. Well, that's kind of a late screen there by O'Banner.
3 off the pass. Weaver missed. Weaver, one of their best 3-point shooters. Haynes Jones, little keyhole jumper. That's good.
Another nice screen by Jamarius Burton. He set up a couple of guys for buckets, setting that ball screen right at the top of that zone. He got Samaje Haynes Jones a wide open 15-footer on that possession.
Kalen Malone stumbles. Jump ball. It'll stay here. And Wichita State leads by 11 as we go to break on Your View. Shockers trying to shrug off a pesky ORU team here in the first half. Individually, Greg Marshall is closing in on not only 500 overall wins, but 300 wins here. And this goes to show you the state of dominance for Wichita State nationally.
Yeah, one of the top programs in the country. Greg Marshall has built this program, and since 2010 to the present day, they have an 81% winning percentage, 3rd best in the country. And that's some pretty strong company there. Gonzaga, Kansas, Wichita State, Duke, and Kentucky. Greg Marshall's Wichita State Shocker program really, really successful
and
since
I think
2010.
That's part of the reason why, and there's a 3 by Kearns that's in. Part of the reason why Wichita State fans, the majority of them anyway, were not necessarily doom and gloom when the Shockers lost all that they'd lost. They were kind of excited in a different way this year.
Yeah, they knew it was going to be a rebuilding year, and it's going to have some tough ball games here until these guys kind of figure it all out. But they've had so much success since 2010. It's kind of been spoiled. Shocker fans are actually spoiled because of the 25, 30 win seasons every year.
25 consistently over the last 9 years. Asbjorn Midgard checks in for the first time, the big fella for Wichita State. Shocker lead is 10. They're doing it mostly without, or at least the last 4 or 5 minutes, without Echenike and Marcus McDuffie. Tough shot, wouldn't go down by Deshang Weaver.
Well, as you've seen in this ball game, the Shockers don't always do everything right, like that outlet pass right there where Brown just rifled it out of bounds past Samaje. What they do is they play hard. They get on the floor, they rebound, they play defense, and they really fight and scratch. But they just got to try to eliminate these kinds of mistakes. That's an unforced error there, and you just can't do too many of those.
And Paul Mills at ORU trying to implement O'Banner, Juergens, Weaver, Francis Lotzis.
Wow.
All of those guys are freshmen. Now, Lotzis got 2 really early fouls, so he hasn't been much of a part of this game. But Nezukweze and Kalen Malone, a couple of veterans, leading the young guys.
Really, really beautiful pass that time.
Haynes Jones steps into a 3 over the taller O'Banner, wouldn't go. And now with 2 minutes left, ORU trying to cut the lead, cut the deficit down a little closer. Nezukweze can really score, and he's starting to heat up.
They had a drought there for a while, but after that timeout, they've come out and hit 3 buckets on 3 straight possessions. Made it look easy. A nice pass inside. Don't dribble it, young big man. Put it up.
Brown had it blocked.
I don't know why he dribbled it. He had it right underneath the basket. Just go up with it, Asbjorn.
Kalen Malone with a layup in transition, and just like that, back come the ORU Golden Eagles, and this is what this Wichita State team has been known for over the last 3 or 4 games is building a lead, not being able to extend the lead, and while not giving back the lead most of the time, it's just those little lulls that Shockers haven't been able to avoid.
Yeah, and you want to keep them in little lulls. You don't want to have big, long lulls like 9 or 10 straight empty trips. Yeah, they have too many empty trips where they'll miss a little easy shot inside or have a turnover. And they're not bad shots. Samaje Haynes-Jones had a wide-open 3 from the left wing 2 possessions ago. And then it looked like to me that Midcard just could have caught that ball and gone right up and laid it in or dunked it if he hadn't dribbled. So just need to execute on the offensive end and not have lulls and lapses on the defensive end.
Isaiah Poorbear-Chandler did not play against Southern Miss, and he's getting major minutes here in the first half. So he's out there with Burton. McDuffie is back in. Haynes-Jones and Ricky Torres for the final 90 seconds. Shockers led by a dozen. It's down to 4 points here late in the first half.
Coach Marshall's upset with Asbjorn Midcard because they put him in there to try to get him some minutes here to close this first half, and was really upset that he didn't just go up there and dunk that shot.
Torres over his own teammate, Poorbear-Chandler.
Poorbear actually did a good job of sealing his man so he didn't have attempt to block Ricky Torres' floater.
Torres has 4 points.
Shockers going to a zone, it looks like, Shane. A little 2-3 zone here to finish out the half. Try to stay out of foul trouble. Marcus McDuffie's got to play smart now. He's sitting there with 2 fouls.
Malone spins in a 3. Kalen Malone is 5.
Dropping a dime on his old teammates. Nice shot by Kalen Malone there. Deep 3.
Torres tried to answer, had it spin out. That was off of O'Banner's foot. And so the Shockers will keep it. So now that's every game this year that ORU has had 5 or more 3-pointers in a game. They are sitting on 5 here in the first half.
Well, they whittled this 12-point lead, Shocker lead, down to 3.
Torres will chase the inbound pass into backcourt. Shot and game clock virtually identical. Shockers, unless they commit a big-time blunder, will go into the halftime with a lead.
Well, he went to take it down, shoot with about 5 seconds to go, so you have a chance to get a rebound. Don't want to shoot too early and get the other team have a chance at a shot.
Shockers out of sorts. McDuffie to try to rescue him. Tap would count if it had gone. Stevenson couldn't tap it in. So both teams had their moments in the first half. And we will go to the halftime break with Wichita State leading Oral Roberts by 3. Patterson League Group halftime show is straight ahead. Wichita State, they take a 3-point lead into the halftime break. You're watching the halftime show brought to you by the Patterson Legal Group here on Your View. Shockers had a 12-0 run fairly early in the first half, Bob, and it seemed like they started to exhale a little bit, but ORU was not about to go anywhere. They came right back with a run of their own.
Yeah, they battled back. Shockers had an 11-point lead and then finished the half. Oral Roberts with a 12-4 run, and they got this back to a 3-point ball game. So Oral Roberts is not going away in this ball game.
5 players have 2 fouls. 1 player has 3. That was a big reason why maybe the offenses went in fits and starts, had a hard time getting into the offense.
Yeah, both teams were going to the basket. Both teams were going to the offensive rebounds really hard. So that's what accounted for a lot of the fouls. Yeah, most of the big guys are in foul trouble, and you saw a lot of substitutes playing extended minutes.
We'll see in the second half who plays when and how often and who starts on the bench. It'll be interesting. Bob and I will return with more on the Patterson Legal Group halftime right after this.
To celebrate the Grinch movie, IHOP has all new Grinch pancakes, mint hot chocolate, and kids eat free from 4 to 10 p.m. Right, Mr. Grinch? Get IHOP's new Grinch pancake.
What's Saturday for? College football. And December 29th is the Saturday of all Saturdays. Why? Because it's the college football playoff. First, it's Damo's dominant defense versus the resurgent Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Then you got Saban, Tua, and the Tide versus Kyler Murray and the explosive Sooners. 2 can't-miss, can't-look-away playoff semifinals. Clemson, Notre Dame at 4. Alabama, Oklahoma at 8. Saturday, December 29th on ESPN.
The biggest present you're getting this year? Lakers Warriors on ABC. LeBron, versus Steph and KD. It's a bigger rivalry than Dasher and Rudolph. Make it rain, make it rain, make it rain. I get you the biggest matchup in the league. You get me cookies. Walnuts? Love walnuts.
We watch everywhere. In different ways, in different places. Introducing Movies Anywhere. Sync multiple digital accounts so your movie collection is in one place.
We're gonna form a super duper group.
One account, one password, one easy to use app.
Where's my phone?
Stream instantly or download your purchased movies to watch later.
Woo! Let's go!
Movies Anywhere. Your movies together at last. Download the free app today.
Monday Night Football is in your future.
It's a Christmas Eve showdown in the black hole. Two teams who know a loss to their bitter division rival can turn the entire season into a lump of coal. So bring on Monday. Because Mondays are made for Monday Night Football. Broncos Raiders, Monday at 8:15 on ESPN.
Compete, because the competition won't stop. They're coming stronger, faster, longer than ever. True contenders don't play around.
Man up, check. Chest out, check. Chin up, check. Discipline, check. Listening, check.
At halftime, Bob, and in the early going, ORU got seemingly whatever it wanted, and then Wichita State figured some things out, and about a 5 or 6 minute drought for ORU let Wichita State right back in the game, as we'll see on the highlights.
Yeah, the Shockers were struggling early against the zone. Then they started to figure it out, really got loose and started moving that basketball. You see a nice pass inside to Echenike. He's definitely been the go-to guy for Wichita State inside the last few ball games. Watch this play here by Eric Stevenson as he goes diving in for this loose ball. Ends up in poor Bear Chandler's hands to Echenike, and a nice three-point play followed after the foul there. So Shockers moving the basketball. There's Jamarius Burton with a really nice left-handed shot off the board. And then Echenike again with a beautiful post move.
Well, Echenike had 12, but has 2 fouls. McDuffie with 6 and 2 fouls. And Chris Miller for ORU has 3 fouls to go with Lotz's 2 very quick fouls and Kerwin Smith's 2 fouls of his own. So again, as we said in the last segment, that'll be interesting to see who plays when and how much in the second half. Bob and I'll be back with the stats right after this.
With Cox High Speed.
What's Saturday for? College football. And December 29th is the Saturday of all Saturdays. Why? Because it's the college football playoff. First, it's Damo's dominant defense versus the resurgent Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Then you got Saban, Tua, and the Tide versus Kyler Murray and the explosive Sooners. 2 can't miss, can't look away playoff semifinals. Comes to Notre Dame at 4, Alabama, Oklahoma at 8. Saturday, December 29th on ESPN.
The biggest present you're getting this year? Lakers Warriors on ABC. LeBron versus Steph and KD. It's a bigger rivalry than Dasher and Rudolph. Make it rain, make it rain, make it rain. I get you the biggest matchup in the league. You get me cookies. Walnuts? Love walnuts.
We watch everywhere. In different ways, in different places. Introducing Movies Anywhere. Sync multiple digital accounts so your movie collection is in one place.
We're gonna form a super duper group.
One account, one password, one easy to use app.
Where's my phone?
Stream instantly or download your purchased movies to watch later.
Woo! Let's go!
Movies Anywhere. Your movies together at last. Download the free app today.
Monday Night Football is in your future.
It's a Christmas Eve showdown in the black hole. Two teams who know a loss to their bitter division rival can turn the entire season into a lump of coal. So bring on Monday. Because Mondays are made for Monday Night Football. Broncos Raiders, Monday at 8:15 on ESPN.
Compete, because the competition won't stop. They're coming, stronger, faster, longer than ever. True contenders don't play around.
Man up, check. Chest out, check. Chin up, check. Discipline, check. Listening, check.
Think you can hang?
Check.
Prove it.
We watch everywhere, in different ways, in different places. Introducing Move.
Brought to you by the Kansas Health Foundation and Wichita State, allowing ORU to shoot 50% from the floor. Wichita State only one three-pointer. You see the turnovers there at the bottom. ORU committed the first 6, but then the Shockers committed 5 of the next 7. Rebounds dead even. Offensive rebounds, slight advantage to Wichita State. They are +3 on the offensive glass after Wichita State pulled down 15 offensive rebounds downtown against Southern Miss. ORU led individually by Emmanuel Nezekweze with 12 points. Jaime Echenike leading Wichita State individually with 12 points himself. But again, foul trouble for both teams. Wichita State has a +3 on the offensive glass, as I mentioned, 8 assists on their made baskets, 7 assists for ORU. So the Shockers led by as many as 11, but ORU scoring 12 of the last 16 in the half. And there you have it, 36-33 of these regional opponents. Bob and I will be back for some keys to the second half and the second half when we come back.
Friday is closer than you think.
Compete, because the competition won't stop. They're coming, stronger, faster, longer than ever. True contenders don't play around.
Man up, check. Chest out, check. Chin up, check. Discipline, check. Listening, check.
Think you can hang?
Check.
Prove it.
We watch everywhere, in different ways, in different places. Introducing Movies Anywhere. Sync multiple digital accounts so your movie collection is in one place.
We're going to form a super duper group.
One account, one password, one easy-to-use app.
Where's my phone?
Stream instantly or download your purchased movies to watch later.
Woo! Let's go!
Movies Anywhere. Your movies together at last. Download the free app today.
The biggest present you're getting this year? Lakers Warriors on ABC. LeBron versus Steph and KD. It's a bigger rivalry than Dasher and Rudolph. Make it rain, make it rain, make it rain. I get you the biggest matchup in the league. You get me cookies. Walnuts? Love walnuts.
Monday Night Football is in your future.
It's a Christmas Eve showdown in the black hole. 2 teams who know a loss to their bitter division rival can turn the entire season into a lump of coal. So bring on Monday. Because Mondays are made for Monday Night Football. Broncos Raiders, Monday at 8:15 on ESPN.
What's Saturday for? College football. And December 29th is the Saturday of all Saturdays. Why? Because it's the college football playoff. First, it's Damo's dominant defense versus the resurgent Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Then you got Saban, Tua, and the Tide versus Kyler Murray and the explosive Sooners. 2 can't miss, can't look away playoff semifinals. Clemson, Notre Dame at 4. Alabama, Oklahoma at 8. Saturday, December 29th on ESPN.
6-5. Wichita State, their long home domination under Greg Marshall has been kind of put to the test this season, Bob. They're 4-1 at home, but ORU's within 3. And the Shockers have won 75 of their last 79 games over the last 6 years. And it seems like over and over again, the Shockers have had to sweat it out here.
Yeah, this team, they can't stand prosperity. They get a big lead. They had an 11-point lead, about 3 minutes to go in the first half, and then let ORU go on a 12-4 run. But give ORU credit. They showed a lot of resiliency coming back from that long drought that they had and got this game close again. So credit ORU, but the Shockers had too many empty trips and a few costly turnovers and then missing some open shots. They're just 1 out of 8 from three-point line, and most of those threes have been pretty wide open looks.
The Shockers are +5 at the free throw line, so that's been a pretty big key. A team that struggled to shoot free throws are 7 out of 9. They've been getting the line fairly consistently. 2 players in double figures for ORU. Nezekwezi with 12, and Sam Kearns has 11 on 4 of 8 from the floor. Echenike's 12 leads the Shockers. Haynes Jones has 7. McDuffie with 6, but with those 2 fouls, he was out for a good part of the first half.
Yeah, Echenike efficient again, 5 for 6 from the floor, 12 points. But look at these 3-point shooting stats. McDuffie 0 for 2. Samaje 1 for 3. Eric Stevenson 0 for 2. Against the zone, they're going to have to knock down some of those open three-pointers.
I was going to say, that is something that's going to be there. Now, Wichita State's not going to win any 3-point shooting contests. It's not really how they're built, but you got to make a few of them.
Yeah, you got to make enough threes to make that zone spread out a little bit so you can get that ball inside.
Shocker ball first. It'll be Torres, Stevenson, Echenike, McDuffie, Haynes Jones. So Echenike and McDuffie will start on the floor in the second half, as will Deshang Weaver, Kerwin Smith with his 2 fouls, Weaver without a foul. So there's only one guy out there with ORU in any foul difficulty. Shockers with 2. There's one of them. Echenike got a man off the floor, and back to work Echenike goes. There's a quick 3rd foul on Kerwin Smith, who just couldn't stay on the floor.
That was a really strong move by Echenike. Nice pass in there by Ricky Torres. Makes a couple of power dribbles and then goes up strong through a lot of contact and finishes that off the glass. A strong move by Jaime Echenike.
Kerwin Smith lasted exactly 12 seconds before he picked up his 3rd, and he's replaced by Chris Miller, who already has 3. Echenike has to settle for 2. That is 14 points for him. His career high was just the other afternoon against Southern Miss with 17. Kalen Malone off the side of the backboard. Torres thought he had it poked away from him, but Pete Gizenas said last touch by Ricky Torres. Kearns, air ball 3.
They've had that open shot on that out-of-bounds play a number of times today.
Kearns had that solid first half. McDuffie for 3.
You know, that's someplace he normally shoots really well from, those corners. And against that zone, those corner shots are going to be open. They're kind of daring Marcus McDuffie to shoot those, and that time he buried it.
McDuffie almost had a pass thrown right in his lap.
Oh, my gosh.
And with 2 fouls, he draws a charge on Nezekwezi.
Yeah, that time Emmanuel Nezekwezi, watch him. He just lowers his shoulder right into McDuffie and sends him flying. And good defensive footwork that time by Marcus McDuffie.
So a good start to the first minute of the second half for Wichita State.
Bobby Hurley Sr. would be proud of him there.
Yeah.
Moving his feet. Bobby worked on those drills a lot at St. Anthony's.
Haynes Jones left a little short. McDuffie walled off by about 3 Golden Eagles.
And Samaje just kind of pulled the string on that one. Didn't follow through on that shot, looked like.
Miller over Echenike.
Yeah, Chris Miller, 6'8", 250, and made a real strong move against Echenike that time inside.
McDuffie, nice job of thinking better of that quick 3 in the corner early in the shot clock.
It's a really odd-looking zone. It's almost like a 2-2-1.
Well, Haynes Jones having very little difficulty getting in there. Can't finish, though. McDuffie off the heel. He can't finish. Went over the top of Kearns' head. And I think Kearns grabbed him.
Yeah, they wanted a travel call, but they're going to call a push before the steps. And Sam Kearns going to pick up a foul there.
3 fouls in the first 2 minutes for the Golden Eagles.
Smaje missed the floater, but he collected his own offensive rebound and got the ball back out.
Echenike, tapped by McDuffie, wouldn't go.
I think the Shockers lead the country on shots underneath missed. They get a lot of shots like that don't fall.
Echenike's been good tonight, though. That's just his third miss. And there's Miller's fourth foul. And a technical foul, and that may be it. If that's a technical on Miller, how about that?
Yeah, the young man, well, it looked pretty obvious that he went right through Echenike. Good.
I don't think Miller realizes that a technical foul was either called on him or counts as a personal, because that is it for Chris Miller. Miller has fouled out in 4 minutes.
Well, he was reacting to the call and said it a little too loud because the referee was pretty demonstrative about the technical. As he walks away,
keep an eye on him.
He had to say something to the referees right about here.
Yeah. Well, when you shoo away the referee's call with your hand and it's seen, that's not advisable either. So, tough break for Chris Miller. Technical foul shots by Marcus McDuffie. This could be a big turning point in the game right here. Obviously, Miller, a decent part of the ORU bench that scored 32 points against Richmond the other night.
Yeah, he's a local guy from Tulsa, Oklahoma, 6'8", 250. He had 12 points against Oakland University, so he's had some good ball games, but he's done for the night.
That's going to be a helpless feeling for him the last 18 minutes. McDuffie knifes in, draws a foul. Emir Ahmedic is into the game for the first time, and that Miller being disqualified is really going to test ORU's depth now.
Well, the way they're setting up this zone, it's two guards out front, then two wings, and then one guy in the middle, like a 2-2-1. And so the Shockers are having a lot of success bouncing that ball inside, and that's why they're drawing so many fouls, because they're getting the ball inside against the zone.
Well, you're a former coach, Bob. Wichita State has no fouls. ORU has 6. Wichita State better be ultra careful right now, because they're eventually going to start evening up. Whether the officials it's in the front of their brains or not, be careful.
Yeah, and their coach, Paul Mills, will be reminding the officials that it's 6-0. But and especially after a technical, you got to watch for a foul. So keep your hands off, move your feet right here.
There's one.
Yeah, there you go. And I'm not really sure Samaje fouled him, but I think that was a good thing that you pointed out there, Shane, that the referees are looking to balance things out.
And if you're ORU, you don't need to be told, be aggressive, because you got a few coming your way.
Yeah, Samaje really just had his arm straight up that time. There was a little contact, but I don't think he initiated it.
Kern's first free throw of the night. He's got 12 points. So the Shockers have come out with a rush here in the first 2.5 minutes. Fouls aplenty. Stevenson with the rebound after Kern splits a pair at the line. Shockers by 9 after leading by 3 at halftime. Echenike over Ahmedic. A little bit of a force, kind of a wild shot by Echenike after he got a nice screen from McDuffie. Kern steps into a 3.
Long three-point try that time by Kearns. Good, strong two-handed rebound by Echenike.
Torres to McDuffie. Back to the free throw line. Marcus McDuffie will go.
Yeah, when you penetrate a zone with a pass or with a dribble, and watch, this time it's with the dribble, Ricky Torres shoots right into the middle of the zone. That gives the zone trouble, and he was able to foul McDuffie right in the short corner, who went up strong and drew the foul.
Ahmedic with 2 quick fouls off the bench, replacing Chris Miller. 17 fouls now in the first 3 minutes and 20 seconds of the half. McDuffie continues to pour in the free throws. He's 9 out of 9 from the stripe. Carlos Jurgens, a freshman from Estonia, checks in for ORU now. then you would think now they're really going to lean on Nezukweze even more to try to get back into this game. McDuffie has 15 points, and he'll get a rest.
Well, after all those early fouls, you mentioned that the benches were going to get a lot of use in this ballgame, and we're already seeing it here early in the second half. Shockers had 6 guys on the floor, though. They had to quickly pull one off.
Udeze comes in. Rod Brown comes in. Udeze has 2, but Echenike and McDuffie are able to go to the bench now with those 2 fouls still intact. Or only at 2 still, I should say.
Well, this is when ORU made that run right at the end of the half when the Shocker bench was in there. So let's see if they can do a little better job here to hold this Shocker lead or maybe build on it. Wow. Tough drive by Kalen Malone.
And Kalen Malone's left-handed. I think he threw that up with the right and banked it in.
You're absolutely right. That was a right-handed shot. He is left-handed, so a nice driving shot by Kalen.
Malone with 7. Brown maybe wasn't quite ready for it. Medic got a paw in there. And now Medic, unfortunately, hopped on the 1 foot after losing his balance a little bit.
Greg Marshall calling Rod Brown over. Make some point. I think about catching the ball with 2 hands possibly. Or when he checks in, make sure you tell the guy you're going in for that you're in for him. Torres
way out between the rings to Haynes Jones. Torres has 5 assists tonight on the heels of 6 against Southern Miss. 5 assists, 1 turnover tonight for Ricky Torres.
There you go.
Torres now has 3 field goals, 6 points to go with those 5 assists.
I think he can get that shot just about any time he wants because there's so much room in the middle of that zone around the free throw line. The guards can drive right in there and pull up and take that little 12-footer.
Udeze held Medic. That's his 3rd.
Well, you called it, Shane. Tight whistle on the Shockers.
Yep, here they come, the final 15-35. They've done as a team over that last magical 9-year run.
Yeah, we talked about them being 3rd in the country, 81% winning percentage, and look at how it breaks down: 25-10, 29-8, 27-6, a Final Four run, 35 straight wins in 2014. Just a tremendous run by Greg Marshall and the Shockers since 2010 on.
Nezukweze hits a rare 3 for him. He has 15 points on 6 of 7 shooting from the floor.
They're shooting about 75% on their out-of-bounds plays. I tell you, they've been really executing those well.
There may have been a few plays that ORU's been man-to-man, but not many. And Ricky Torres now has a career-high 8 points. He had 7 against Jacksonville State. That was a previous high water mark. And a hand check. Just as I say that, Ricky Torres will pick up a foul.
Yeah, you got to show your hands when that guy puts that ball down and comes at you. You got to show those hands and move your feet. That time Ricky got caught putting his hands on Kalen Malone. Here's the replay right here. Watch. Yep. Doesn't look like much of a foul, but that's an emphasis for the referees the last few years.
Torres and Rod Brown will go out. McDuffie and Jamarius Burton check in. Carlos Jurgens handling it for ORU.
Too bad Torres has to sit down because it looks like he's kind of getting in the flow offensively with that pull-up jumper.
Jurgens for 3 wouldn't go. Poor Bear Chandler got worked a little bit by Nezukweze, who got the offensive rebound. Aiden Saunders, number 13 in blue, over to Malone for 3. Clangs off the backboard. Burton for the rebound.
Little matchup zone by the Shockers that time.
Burton bumped, left it short, got it back, lost it out of bounds.
Not a good shot that time by Burton. He was trying to draw the foul, but he got caught up in the air and had to put up a very difficult shot, and no foul was called.
And he's got a little bit more bulk than Jurgens, so kind of a fadeaway toward the baseline. Probably not exactly what the doctor ordered there if you want to get a foul.
No, right now, not when you're coming down the court. Shockers build these leads, and they have a hard time keeping them and building on them. They squandered leads often, so you got to have good possessions on offense, and you got to have good stands on defense.
Jurgens made it all the way to the hoop, lays it in for his first basket.
Defense just parted that time, and he got all the way to the basket. That shouldn't happen. Ricky Torres is coming back in.
What a tough catch and delivery by Marcus McDuffie. He got a bullet shin-high pass that he just walked into a three with.
Yeah, normally guys don't make that shot when they catch it that low, if not low a pass, but he loves that corner over there, especially in front of the Shocker bench.
McDuffie has 18 and comes up with a steal. Burton looking ahead for Stevenson, couldn't get it to him.
Stevenson wanted the lob there, but Burton figured, I'm not sure I'm going to chance that one.
McDuffie passes up the three, wanted it right back, and Burton was looking the other way.
Yeah, Marcus was towing the line over there, getting ready to shoot it, but passed it up.
Haynes Jones, mid-range. Stevenson with a tap, wouldn't go. And a outlet pass that goes firing out of bounds. Turnover on ORU. Well, Marcus McDuffie with 18 points. 2 more points, and he will pass Ernie Moore for 19th on the all-time Shocker scoring, or 39th, I should say, on the all-time Shocker scoring list. He needs 19 to catch Ernie Moore, 20 to pass him.
And he does more than just score points, as you saw down there getting that steal.
Poor Bear with a tap, lost it. Malone comes away for ORU. Aiden Saunders.
ORU is a scrappy ball club. You can see why they won at Richmond. They're fighters.
Saunders and one. Aiden Saunders came in averaging 8 a game. I think that's his first shot attempt here tonight.
Well, it seems when people get down, they just put their head down and start attacking. And they're attacking the Shockers. That time he got a half step on Torres and got into his body, drawing the foul, and made the bucket. So he'll have a chance for an old-fashioned three-point play.
And here's another thing Wichita State probably should guard against, and that's talking. There's been a technical foul handed out already. So if you get a foul, you might want to tread lightly with the officials if you want to talk to them.
Yeah. You don't want to get a tee.
Aiden Saunders with a three-point play. He had 15 and 3 3-pointers in that win over Richmond, a game in which ORU shot 52%. They're shooting right at 50% for the game right now.
Well, right now, the Golden Eagles are getting better shots than the Shockers. They're getting that ball all the way to the basket and getting some good shots, and Shockers are not getting as good as shots.
Poor Bear Chandler with an aggressive move. McDuffie slid underneath with an offensive putback and couldn't quite collect it.
That's about 3 times in a row they've had a shot near the basket and a putback near the basket and have not converted on those shots.
Kevin O'Banner's first basket of the night. And ORU just won't go away. Shockers had another 11-point lead in this half, and it's been whittled down to 6. And McDuffie. Just a personal heat check right now for Marcus McDuffie, who has 21 points.
Yeah, the seniors say, I'll stop this run. I'll just knock down a three-pointer. He wanted to shoot it last time down.
He's made 3 of the Shockers' 4 on the night.
Shockers need to tighten up the defense.
Ahmedich traveled and will go to break. So quite a first 9 minutes of the second half for Marcus McDuffie, and the Shockers trying to pull away on your view. 41 left to go, Bob. In the bonus, there have been 7 team fouls by ORU, just 4 for Wichita State. The possession arrow, should it come to a tie ball, favors ORU right now. And the Shockers with a 9-point lead after leading by 3 at the break.
Yeah, both clubs have made 6 buckets here in the second half. Oral Roberts 6 of 11, 55%. Wichita State just 6 of 16, 38%. So they've got many more shots, but ORU shooting a higher percentage.
Plus 9 for the game, Wichita State at the foul line, led by Marcus McDuffie's 10 for 10. So McDuffie has a seat for the time being. Torres is going to fire a 3. Ricky Torres was 1 for his first 21. That's number 2.
Big shot there by Ricky Torres. Shockers needed a bucket.
Malone to answer.
How about that?
Kalen Malone. He has 10. Ricky Torres working on a season and career high 11 for him. Stevenson tried to save it out to Torres. Not enough on it. Saunders rejected by Stevenson.
How about that? A 2-on-1 by Oral Roberts, and it was broken up by the Shockers.
Good hustle by Stevenson, but his save was right to Juergens. Good hustle by Udeze. Udeze playing with 3 fouls. Torres with another 3. That one off the heel too hard. Saunders with a push-off. May have extended the left arm as Torres was given ground.
Yeah, I think so. Torres was moving his feet, showed his hands, and that time Saunders got called for the little bit of a push-off.
You keep saying that, and that's really a buzz phrase for coaches when their guys are playing defense. Show the referees your hands, and it makes it harder to call a foul on you, doesn't it?
Exactly. Move your feet, have good defensive position, show your hands so you're not holding. Shockers need to show a little patience against this zone defense. Work the ball. Don't take the first decent shot you get. Move it around. Keep looking inside. Try to get that great shot. You got a little bit of a lead. You got a 9-point lead. You need to try to get a great shot.
Working exclusively against that Golden Eagle zone.
You had McDuffie open. He just hesitated.
Stevenson missed. The offensive rebound by Echenike. Up and in. Jaime Echenike strikes again. Wichita State had 15 offensive rebounds against Southern Miss. They have 11 offensive rebounds tonight.
Yeah, a lot of the Shockers have had trouble finishing inside, but Echenike hasn't been one of them. He's done a good job of finishing inside. That time he got pinned. Good job by Kerwin Smith getting Echenike on his hip and forcing the foul.
Kalen Malone, by the way, played 23 games at Wichita State and scored a total of 10 points. He's got 11 tonight against his old mates.
Yeah, and I'm sure he'd like to get a few more.
And a moving screen on the out-of-bounds play.
They're going to get Smith on it. He really put his hip out and caught Eric Stevenson on that out-of-bounds play.
Kerwin Smith has had a night to forget. He's got 4 fouls. A transfer from Grand Canyon, who isn't exactly expected to score a lot. He averages 4.5 a game, had 4 against Richmond, but he has been rendered pretty much a non-factor with fouls here tonight, much like Chris Miller, who's already gone.
Yeah, they're really working on trying to prevent players from obstructing freedom of movement. So when you set screens, you really got to be set. He didn't move a lot there, but he just moved a little bit and got called for the blocking foul.
Burton, little teardrop, left it short, went right back to him. Another offensive rebound for Wichita State. This equals the largest Shocker lead, and there's a moving screen on Udeze, and Haynes Jones, who is a senior, has got to realize that wait for that thing to get set before you use it. They were both running into each other, and that's never going to go the offensive player's way.
Yeah, he did just what Kerwin Smith did. He moved just a little bit before the contact and was called for the blocking foul. Now poor Bear Chandler is going to get a chance to show what he can do in here.
That 3 wouldn't go by Nezekweze, who hit his previous one. McDuffie. Marcus McDuffie has 23.
That was a nice little play there. McDuffie came off a little screen by poor Bear Chandler and got the ball right in the short corner and had a wide open 12-footer.
Kearns cut off. Now Kalen Malone. And O'Banner will go to the free throw line.
Yeah, that's tough to defend there. When guy catches the ball that close to the basket and then jumps into you, it's pretty hard not to pick up a foul.
So that's the third on McDuffie, but he went 11 and a half minutes before picking it up. So this may be a point now where we're deep enough into the game that Greg Marshall is going to let him play on, or maybe unless he gets his 4th fairly quickly. We'll see.
I'll bet he'll pull him out here and let him rest through the 8-minute media timeout. Then you'll see him come back in and play the rest of the way. But I tell you what, O'Banner did a good job of doing his work early there. He really got great position before the pass was on the way and got McDuffie out of position. McDuffie's going to sit probably through the under 8 media timeout would be my guess.
Good call, Bob. O'Banner has 4 points. He's second on the team in scoring and rebounds as just a freshman. 11-point Shocker lead here on Your View. Basketball brought to you in part by Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, by Lewis Street Glass, by the Kansas Lottery. Play Kansas Lottery and dream bigger. Let Prairie View help get you back in the game of life. And by IHOP. Pancakes, pancakes, pancakes. Shockers with an 11-point lead. Just over 8.5 to go. Marcus McDuffie working on a 23-point night in a game in which he has climbed over 3 former Shockers of the all-time scoring list. Came in with 1,037 overall, 23 more tonight, including 10 out of 10 from the free throw line.
Oral Roberts extending their half-court zone and running a little trap out of it.
And they call Burton for steps.
Jabari is pretty frustrated. Thought he was making a pretty strong move there. I didn't see the travel. He must have slid his pivot foot, but
it's only 8 turnovers for Wichita State tonight. They forced 16. Malone over Rod Brown. Wouldn't go. Did everything but go in. Burton runs down the loose ball, and will think better of it. Shockers didn't have numbers.
Yeah, look at the traps. They're extending it. Got a timeout here. Looks like, nope, he got out of there.
Stevenson partially blocked. Burton saw it, saved it. Shot clock still going, and a grab on Nezukwesi. So Wichita State leading by 11. Trying to hang on down the stretch here on your view. Back and forth. Shockers can't seem to shake the Golden Eagles. Led multiple times by 11. Had a halftime lead of 3 after a first half lead of 11. And Wichita State trying to make sure that the Golden Eagles don't make any such run here down the stretch. Shane Dennis and Bob Hull with you here from the Roundhouse for the final time in 2018. Next 2 Shocker games will be on the road. Shockers are in the double bonus the rest of the way. Isaiah Poor Bear Chandler has played a career-high 15 minutes tonight. He now has 3 points. And Poor Bear didn't even play against Southern Miss, but foul trouble has pressed him into service. And I can't wait to hear what Greg Marshall has to say about his effort tonight, because they needed him.
He had a pretty good game against Baylor. 3 points, 4 rebounds, had 3 assists, and he's getting extended minutes here tonight against Oral Roberts.
He gives the Shockers their biggest lead. And Poor Bear Chandler is just 3 out of 6 from the line before that trip. And the Shockers are 15 of 18 from the line here tonight.
Ooh, tough shot.
Nezukwesi
with a long jump hook that time from about 10 feet out.
Nezukwesi's season high 24 in a game earlier this year. Torres, boy, he's really found a comfort zone in that little elbow jumper from about 14 feet.
Yeah, a couple of bounces and then pulls up and knocking that jumper down. He's got 3 of those here in the second half.
Torres, a career-high 13 points. Banner on a feed from Kalen Malone.
Yeah, not much help off that ball screen that time, and Torres got rubbed off, and so when the guy turned the corner, it made it difficult on the Shocker defense. Got to either hedge or switch or do something on that ball screen.
Marcus McDuffie's been on the bench a while, but Wichita State's had the score go in the right direction even without him. Brown explodes to the basket, but may have had it partially blocked. Brown a little undersized at 6'6".
They've had a ton of shots really close to the basket. They haven't been able to finish.
Forced shot by Sam Kearns, one and done for ORU.
Shockers need to be smart now, up 11. Need to get good shots each time down the floor.
Greg Marshall calling out a play with Jamarius Burton right in front of him. Kalen Malone bumped him a split second before Burton hooked him.
Yeah. Coach Paul Mills was wanting the hook call, but I think you got it right. I think there was a bump right before Jamarius threw the arm around him and hooked him.
Burton, 14 of 22 from the foul line so far this year. Jamarius has 2 points tonight.
What you'd like to see when they set that trap, before the trap gets set, Jamarius is taller than both those guys setting that trap. So look over the trap, and if 2 guys are on you, that means somebody's open. Sure. Pass before they get that trap on you, then the Shockers will have 4 on 3.
There you see the vitals on Burton, true freshman. He had a game against App State earlier this year where he had 14 points. Tried to run down his own free throw, miss. And that's going to be a foul called on ORU as opposed to a jump ball, which would have given the Golden Eagles the ball.
I think Aiden Saunders got the foul.
Saunders jumping on the pile basically is what Pete Jazenas explained, laying on Burton. Yeah, kind of basically went through Burton for the ball, according to the official.
Yeah, you talked about it. This young man had a heck of a game earlier this season against App State. 14 points, 6 rebounds, hit 6 of 8 shots in that ball game, but hasn't been able to find his shot since then.
So lead is an even dozen after Burton goes 1 for 4 from the line on that trip. Kearns left it short, trying to flip it in around Eric Stevenson. Haynes Jones back in for the Shocker.
Looked like he got all the way around the Shocker defense. Looked like he had a pretty easy shot. He just kind of pulled the string on and left it short.
Shockers left 11 points at the free throw line in that Intrust Bank Arena game against Southern Miss where they barely eked it out. 16 of 22, a lot better tonight. Just under 73% from the line.
Watch out for the traps now. Got to keep your head up, keep good spacing, and move the basketball.
Echenike to beat the shot clock, banks it in for 3.
Not just one bank, but 2 banks.
Echenike with a career-high 19.
When you're hot, right?
Yep. He is 6 of 11 from three-point range this year.
Tell you what, they're just putting their heads down and they're just driving right to the basket, hoping to get a foul. And it's really hard to defend that without fouling. That time it was Juergens. He just put his head down and just drove right at him.
Carlos Juergens is 3 of 8 from the free throw line. He did not play in the Richmond game. Foul trouble virtually from the start for both teams.
Oh, boy.
Way short on the foul line. McDuffie got the ball, went to the deck. ORU's bench wanted to travel, didn't get it. Echenike, after McDuffie tried to deliver a dagger, poked away out of bounds. It'll stay on this end. Shockers by 15, and ORU's kind of teetering right now.
Yeah, smart move by Echenike. Got that rebound. Looked like he was going to try to force it back up, but smartly kicked it out. Knowing the score, knowing the time. There you go. I was wondering when Samaje Haynes-Jones was going to start warming up. He was 3 of 10 going into that shot, but boy, that one hit nothing but net.
Yes, Ekweze couldn't answer. The Shockers are 6 of 10 from three-point range this half. And boy, they can use a lot of clock every possession from here on out, Bob. Leading 75-57.
Yeah, they're not going to be in any big hurry. They want to keep attacking, but don't rush up any bad shots. Ooh.
Not a bad catch from the big guy.
No kidding.
McDuffie on a pass from Stevenson.
Wow. How good was that pass? Stevenson took a couple bounces inside that zone and made a beautiful bounce pass to Marcus McDuffie for the dunk. And listen to the Shocker crowd. They're all on their feet making a ton of noise. Wow.
The Shockers lead it by 20 here on your view.
Got loud in here, didn't it?
Run over the last 2:16. The lead is swollen to 20 points. Greg Marshall in search of that near perfect 40 minutes. First half certainly failed the test, but the second half has been tough to top. They've been really good in the second half.
Yeah, the Shockers are getting really good shots and starting to knock down some of those outside shots. They've forced Oral Roberts into 17 turnovers, and Shockers lead 19-4 on points off turnovers, so a 15-point advantage there.
And I got to call McDuffie for getting a head start. Shockers, among other things, tonight, 16 assists on their 27 baskets. They have forced 17 turnovers. That's only the 9th that they've given away. And the Shockers have out-rebounded ORU on the offensive glass 15-6. Back-to-back Shocker games where they have 15 offensive rebounds.
Very good on the offensive glass. Now they just got to get good at sticking those back in because they've had a number of shots right near the basket that they haven't been able to convert on.
Kalen Malone lays it in.
Kalen Malone's having a good ball game.
Officially, he's got 12 points. Shockers have gotten career highs from Ricky Torres with 13 points. Echenike with 19 points. Haynes Jones makes Wichita State's 7th three-pointer of the second half.
Well, it took him a while to warm up, but Haynes Jones has got it going now. A couple of long three-pointers. Caught nothing but net, both
Shockers
of them.
were 1 of 8 in the first 20 minutes. Stevenson with a defensive rebound. That's his 8th rebound.
Oh!
Udeze, nice job of saving it in, young man.
That was a good save. That Eric Stevenson's a good rebounder for his size. 6'3", but he likes to play inside and loves to battle on the boards.
Burton's got 7 rebounds also. So you got a couple of 6'4" guys kind of taking up where Dexter Dennis left off. He hasn't been available tonight with that concussion.
Yeah, he got flipped in the Southern Mississippi game. If you didn't watch it, he got flipped end over end, landed right on his head, and he's in the concussion protocol. So Jamarius Burton has got a lot of minutes tonight, and Ricky Torres, Eric Stevenson, they've all had to play extra minutes because of the absence of Dexter Dennis.
Crowd gives Ricky Torres quite an ovation as Eli Farrakhan is going to check in for him. Final 2 minutes. Shockers lead by 21. Saunders was bound and determined to beat every single Wichita State player on the floor on his way to the basket there.
They just quit running offense. They set a ball screen, then whoever comes off that ball screen just lowers their head and goes right to the basket.
So the Shockers plus 10 from the foul line. ORU 7 of 20 from three-point range. They've made just 1 fewer than Wichita State, but the Shockers 7 of 11 in this half.
Misses on that first one. That young man had 15 points in the win against Richmond, hit 6 of 9 shots, but he missed on the front end of that 1-on-1.
This was a 3-point game at halftime. Shockers got the first 5 points coming out of the break, and really no let-up in them ever since. Rod Brown's going to hoist one from the baseline. And Burton, Johnny on the spot, lays it in.
Nice tip that time by, was it Rod Brown or Udeze? One of the guys tipped it to him.
I think it was Udeze, yeah.
It was a really nice tip. Burton finished it.
Well, I don't know how this is going to feel for Greg Marshall. We'll find out here in about a minute and 5 seconds whether it felt like a 20-plus point victory or not, especially not the way it started. There were foul issues in the first half. There was a long run by ORU at the end of the first half to make it a little closer than I think the fans expected out of ORU, just 4-9 tonight.
Well, I'll guarantee you one thing, Shane. With a minute 5 to go, he's feeling a lot better now than he did with a minute 5 to go against Southern Miss.
You got that right.
Down at Trust Bank Arena, because I'm sure his stomach was flipping around. And there's a nice round of applause for Eric Stevenson and Morris Udeze as Greg Marshall shakes both of their hands as they come off the floor, telling them, good game, boys.
Mick Gard and Jacob Hers check in for Wichita State. Brown got the rebound, took a shove from Juergens. Final minute of the game. Shockers leading by 22. They'll have to shoot it, you'd think, only one more time. Brown's going to hook it in there. Rod Brown's played a lot of minutes tonight, too.
That was a beautiful move right there by Rod Brown. A little jump hook, and he shot that down to the basket, I believe.
This is a career high in minutes for Rod Brown, too, in addition to Poor Bear Chandler getting a season high in minutes. Juergens, quick three. Carlos Juergens, 5 points for ORU. And that ought to just about do it. Wichita State with 48 second half points.
That Midcard can set a big screen, can he? That's a big
He's
young
calling
man.
for it down on the block.
Yeah,
See if Eli gets it to him. No.
He's going to get Farrakhan a shot.
Rod Brown with the rebound. Don't have to shoot anymore. We'll see if they do. Farrakhan says, no thanks. We got this. Wichita State turned in quite a defensive performance in the second half. Shot 47% from the field in the half, and they win this one going away after leading by just 3 at halftime, Bob.
Yeah, a great performance in the second half by the Wichita State Shockers. Very, very pesky defense, a dominating performance on the boards, and then McDuffie just caught fire in the second half, and he was helped by Samaje Haynes-Jones with a couple of long threes after that.
Shockers ended up plus 10 on the glass, and again, at least 15 offensive rebounds for the second straight day. And they got contributions from a whole lot of different people, including Ricky Torres. Looked like a good floor general tonight, didn't he?
I thought Ricky Torres had a really good ball game. A lot of assists, not very many turnovers. Echenique had a good ball game, and Greg Marshall's making his way over here, so I'm sure he's a happy coach now with 3 straight wins.
Shockers had 4 players in double figures, led by Marcus McDuffie's 25. Jaime Echenique, for the second straight day, sets a season high in points, as Echenique had 19, 4 players in double figures, as I mentioned. Greg Marshall making his way over here now. And Coach, I know you've been in search for that quote-unquote near-perfect 40 minutes. I know the first 20 probably wouldn't qualify, but the last 20 were pretty good.
You know, I thought we were really good except for the last 3.5 minutes of the first half. We had a 10, 11-point lead, and we had some wacky lineups because we had a little foul trouble. I was trying to protect Marcus, and thank you. Marcus and Jamie had some foul issues along with Mo, so I had a different group of post players in there. We made a couple of errors, and you know, we turned the ball over on an outlet pass, and they cut it to 3. But I mean, that was as well as we played for 36.5 minutes, and that's what we needed going into Saturday.
Ricky Torres really looked like a floor general tonight. He was good in almost every way. That was terrible timing by me, but go ahead.
I'm sorry. You know, well, I tell you what I told Ricky. Kalen Malone was in our program for 2 years. Didn't have any offers. I don't think he had any. I know he didn't have any Division I offers. Otherwise, he would have taken them. He comes here for 2 years. He's a model student athlete. He graduates, and he can go as a grad transfer, and Oral Roberts wanted to give him a scholarship. I wasn't prepared to do that. I could have. That's what I told Ricky going into the game. I could have had him. I got you. Make sure that I made the right decision. Kalen played well. I'm so happy for Kalen. Paul's very happy with Kalen. That's the most important thing. He's a part of a Division I team that has some talent and can win a lot of games. I was excited how Ricky played. Ricky was confident tonight. He was coming off that ball screen, pulling up at the elbow. He made a 3. Very few errors. Defensively, we got to get a little better with it, moving his feet and all that. But, man, he really came out of his shell tonight.
Eric Stevenson has proven he can rebound at his size. You're without Dexter Dennis, who's been a real catalyst on the boards, but it seemed like Jamarius Burton took the slack up.
Yeah, Jamarius had some offensive rebounds. He got a gratuitous bounce where Morris Udeze kept it alive right at the end, and he was able to finish. Jamarius' deal is he thinks he's a bully. He's always been a bully. He was a bully guard. You know, he's bigger than everybody in high school. So he wants to get in there and jump to a jump stop and lower his shoulder and make space. The problem is he can't do that at this level, you know. So he's got to learn that. So what's he going to do next? How's he going to make the counter? How's he going to his game evolve at this level? So he makes one turnover going into the lane, coming to a jump stop and traveling every single game.
And 2 more role players pressed into minutes, career high in minutes for Isaiah Poorbear Chandler and Rod Brown tonight.
Both of them helped us win, and that's what it's about. You know, when you help your team win and don't hurt your team, you get more opportunities. And, you know, until Dex gets back, and I don't know when that's going to be, who knows, man? We're limited with our numbers. So, you know, I'm just going to say this. With what we've got, we don't have another game until way middle of January. What we got, we need these fans behind us, okay? They got excited towards the end. They need to be excited the whole game. If they're going to come here, this is a young team. We need them to be positive and loud and energetic. Every game is going to be a struggle from here on out. Every single game. We've got 19 games. We won't be the favorite in about 16 of them. Okay, so we need everything, and this crowd can bring it and help us do that.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck Saturday.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, Shockers will head to VCU on Saturday. Bob and I will be back with some final thoughts right after this. pull away in the second half, it was, or certainly didn't feel like a 21-point game for most of this one, Bob. The Shockers won comfortably, but really had to earn it in the second half.
Oral Roberts was a scrappy team. They didn't go away. They kept battling, but the Shockers just overwhelmed them with rebounding, and they forced a ton of turnovers. And then Marcus McDuffie got hot, 25 points. Echenike was inside, and then Samaje Haynes-Jones started hitting some threes.
All right, let's get to our Bud Light play of the game. Wichita State, when you score this many points, you got some options, and that's always nice, certainly with their player of the game too. But the hustle really fueled this player of the game, Bob.
Oh, look at this. This is a Shocker fans just love this play. Eric Stevenson going head first into that loose ball situation. Look at him head first right in there. Poor Bear gets it and flips it over to Echenike, who finished after a foul.
Shockers survived some foul trouble, and as we mentioned with the play of the game selections that we had quite a few nominees for player of the game. We'll give it to Marcus McDuffie, who got hot in the second half.
Yeah, 25 points for McDuffie, and he really got hot, especially from that left corner over there in front of the Shocker bench. But he scored inside, scored outside, rebounded, did everything for the Shockers.
He ended up jumping 3 players on the all-time scoring list to get to 39th all-time. Takale Cotton and Jamie Arnold, 2 pretty good scorers in their respective careers. Marcus McDuffie passed them. So, Wichita State will go to VCU coming up on Saturday, and then not until after the first of the year will they play in the American, and of all places, they start at Memphis. So it is, and Coach Greg Marshall talked about it, it's going to get tougher starting on Saturday.
It sure will. VCU is a really tough team. They went down and won at Texas, so it's going to be a tough game in Richmond on Saturday afternoon, and then they go to Memphis to start the conference. The next home game will be on January 6th, I believe, and that's against Temple.
Yep, that'll be a tough one as well. So it's been a blast on your view this year. Wichita State ends it in style, 84-63 for everybody at Intake. For my broadcast partner, Bob Hull, Shane Dennis saying thanks so much for watching Wichita State basketball. Once again, the final night, Shockers win at 84-63. Good night and so long from Charles Koch Arena.